Minasan, okarinasai. Today we've got a lady who's been in the industry for over a decade now, but only recently really got into the mainstream attention. A beauty who used to be in one of my favorite groups ever to exist. Yoshino Aoyama, born May 15th, 1996 in Kumamoto, affiliated with 81 Produce, while her solo music is under Imperial Records label. In middle school, she was a member of her school's chorus club, which is where she spent most of her time. Then at some point, her love for manga influenced her decision to pursue a career in voice acting. In high school, she attended a few open auditions but was turned down for all of them. She didn't give up though, and her story would begin in 2012, where she auditioned for the AVEX and 81 Produce Wake Up Girls audition, which had over 2,000 entries total, and this time she passed. In 2013, Wake Up Girls was formed in April, but didn't fully begin until July. During this time, she actually didn't even move to Tokyo like most of her teammates, but instead she would just commute from Kumamoto. That was kind of the prologue though, as in 2014 she made her anime debut at the age of 18 with one of her most notable roles still to this day, voicing Yoshino Nanase in Wake Up Girls, naturally joining the live-action Seiyuu unit of the same name, which low-key did start in the year prior, but this is when the mainstream anime audience was introduced to them. Being part of the Dive 2 label, she was the leader of the unit with the light blue image color and the polar bear for her image animal. I actually have so much to say about this group, but I'll keep this one short since the next one will be fully about them. This group is totally an underappreciated pioneer of this whole Seiyuu unit phenomenon that's been going around for the last decade. Not the first group to do it by any means, but definitely an influential one. Throughout the 6 years they were around, Yopi and the girls would have 4 best of albums, a compilation album having 9 singles, and 1 collab single with Main. Some of these were Annie songs, and I'll be sure to mention those later on. In 2015, all of her focus was with Wagyu, but she had some small unnamed stuff in Hakadol. And this year she actually already won her first award, while the girls as a whole did, winning the special award at the 9th Seiyuu Awards. 2016, still deep in the Wagyu life, but a small role of Fio in Konosuba, and supporting character Yura in Scorching Ping Pong Girls, singing the ending with Wake Up Girls. And she actually did join a second unit, Deselections, with Wagyu member Mayu and some Iris ladies. They would have 3 singles between 2016 and 2019, all on the Dive 2 label. They are not technically disbanded, but they haven't released anything in like 5 years. In 2017, she starts to have more opportunities to prove herself. Renee in Another World with My Smartphone, Sato in Hitorijime My Hero, Rochelle in Grimoire of Zero, then Tiana in Restaurant to Another World, singing the opening with Wagyu and Main, and her first lead role of Goody in Love Tyrant, also singing the opening with the girls that wake up. This is actually the very first song that I heard from them, and low-key what made me a fan of theirs to begin with, even if I wouldn't fully realize it till like 4 years later. 2018, all she had was Ephria in The Master of Ragnarok. 2019 is a little more, voicing Emmy in O Maidens in Your Savage Season, and 3 separate roles in Promised Neverland, Alicia, Mark, and Nina. 2020 was the year of the rat and her personal Chinese zodiac, but also is the year with her most roles up until this point. I'm sure Wake Up Girls disbanding the year prior gave her a lot of free time. She had smaller roles like Lin Mei in Decadence, Lorena in Kuma Kuma Bear, and Kuroe in Seton Academy, then leads of Izumi in the short series Natsunagu, and Makoto in Shachibato. But also this year she took a brief 1-month hiatus in early March for health reasons. Everybody needs a little time off, you know? On to 2021, voicing Akina in Kageki Shoujo, and then a lead of Mami in Pride of Orange, joining the Seiyuu unit Smile Princess with the other leads, having 2 albums and 3 singles, one of which even coming out very recently in August. Part of the digital double label, by the way, and honestly, if you're looking for some new tunes, I would recommend their group. If you're a Love Live fan, you'll be happy to hear that Nijigasaki's Mayu Sagara is also in this group. Now on to 2022, a big year for her. She voiced the lead character Hitori Goto in Bocchi the Rock, and joining the live-action version of Kesoku Band, though it's more of a Seiyuu unit, which is currently active, having 1 full album, 2 EPs, and 2-ish singles. I say 2-ish because they have some digital onlys that are sometimes marketed as singles, but they're all still on the EPs, so yeah, and they're all with the Aniplex label. This same year though, she also made her solo debut, having 3 digital singles in 3 different quarters throughout the year. In order, they are Page, Ayamero no Natsu ni, and My Tale, none of which seem to be Annie songs. Aside from all that good stuff, she had some smaller things, like Nanako in Dance 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 Here, Eve and her shadow Evelyn in the Shadow House Season 2, and Koyuki in The World's End Harem. then Vaughn in Nanashi Kaiden, a short series horror story collection. Finally joining yet another music franchise, this one being arguably the biggest that she's in, portraying Tsurumaru Tsuyoshi in Uma Musume Pretty Derby, debuting in the Uma Yuri Chibi spin-off to the main series, and also the game. Now for last year of 2023, she had her first and so far only album, La Valagia. Valagia? It's usually a hard G with Japanese, but this is Italian and it means the suitcase, so definitely La Valagia. Anyway, she also had a new single, A Flying Penguin. I'm sure now Toyama is thrilled to see that. As for more anime, a lot of new seasons, stuff like Konosuba, In Another World with My Smartphone, Kuma Bear, and Nanashi Kaiden. New stuff includes Katsuki in A Girl and Her Guard Dog, Mihiro in Rolled Die Star, Haru in Liar Liar singing the ending theme with Smile Princess, and Twa in Classroom for Heroes, then joining the Pokemon franchise as Dot in Pokemon Horizons, voicing Palmy as well. And she, along with the Girls and Kosoku Band, won the Radio of the Year award, but also Best Female Radio and Best Funny Radio awards at the 8th Annie Radio Awards. That is a lot of awards, and she still has yet another one to come. For this year of 2024, she dyed her hair super blonde early in the year. Not her first time doing so, but I think it looks really good. As for her career, she has had her 5th most recent single, Flowery, but then she got another award with Kosoku Band, the music award for this year's 18th Seiyuu Awards. And then a lot of anime. Ururu in The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, Fujinami in Yatagarasu, Akari in My Wife Has No Emotion, and Airi in A Nobody's Way Up to an Exploration Hero. I literally just had to double check to see if those were the real titles, and they were. As for more popular shows, she voiced Nea in the 3rd Overlord movie, Rumi in a Viral Hit, and Nonoa in Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. And she is currently in How I Attended an Old Guy's Mixer as Hashibami. These really are real anime title names. Next year, she already has 2 roles lined up, Reira in Harmony of Mille Fure, and then Yopi will also have a lead of Meg in Once Upon a Witch's Death. That is definitely a better title than half of the stuff I said within the last few minutes. With the minor unnamed stuff, I did mention some one-episode characters in her main career, but only if they had names, aside from the one very early on in 2016. But throughout this slightly over a decade-long career, she has had unnamed characters in shows like 86, Ace Attorney Season 2, and Happy, Cardfight Vanguard, Dance with Devils, Fate Granddaughter Absolute Demonic Front, Interspecies Reviewers, Kakegururi, Magi Adventure of Sinbad, Orange, the quintessential quintuplets movie, 3D Real Girl, Rising of Shield Hero, Shine Post, Skip and Loafer, Super Hentai Heroes, To Your Eternity, Wonder Egg Priority, Otokoi, and Yoru Camp, which is a huge list that I would usually trim down, but I feel like all of them needed to be mentioned. I even skipped over a good 7 to 10 shows as well. Shame that she's in so many good, or at least well-known shows, but just as background characters. Then with the music credits, they include just the main things that you'd expect. Openings, endings, and insert songs for both Wake Up Girls and Bocchi the Rock, but also with Wake Up Girls doing the openings for A Restaurant to Another World, Love Tyrant, and Scorching Ping Pong Girls, opening of 100 and ending for the first season of Kakegururi with deselections, and then the opening for Pride of Orange and the ending for Liar Liar with Smile Princess. Unfortunately, no any songs from her solo career yet, but she has a very random credit listed on Anime News Network, that being choreography cooperation in Harukana Receive for the second opening exclusive to episode 7. I would assume that means she did the mocap for the girls dancing in the opening credits, also voicing a background character in the show as well. Her video game roles include the usual suspects of Azure Lane and Blue Archive, obviously being in the Uma Musume game, but also in a certain Magical Index game that came out earlier this year. Then a bunch of smaller stuff, but some bigger games include Tokimeki Idol, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, the Trials of Mana remake, and the fairly recently released Wuthering Waves as Jinchi, which I totally thought was a Hoyoverse game, but I guess not. Getting close to the end of the career, she's got a few foreign dubbings as well. And like with most of the Wake Up Girls members, she did the Japanese dubbing for Thomas and Friends in 2019, but Yopi was also in the movie Surf's Up 2, then 3 live-action American things as well. Concerts include a lot of Wake Up Girls stuff, 5 tours, with the 5th one having 3 parts, like 10 plus regular shows and another 10 or so performances at festivals like Anime Central, AFA Singapore, Billy Billy World, and Anime Jam within 2014 and 17. As for the big events, being with them at Animax in 2018 for a show, and then both shows in 2017. With Annie Sama, she was with the girls for 2014, 15, 17, and 18, literally only missing 2016. With Pretty Derby, it seems so far she has only been at the Yokohama Day 2 event for the Wish show of their 5th live tour. With Kasoku Band, they had a live show in 2023, and they also performed at the Animax 20th anniversary event in the same year. By herself, she had a solo live in 2021 and a birthday live in 2023, neither of which labeled as a first official live, though I'm sure that's not far away, most likely next year. Also by herself being a guest at Anime Expo in LA earlier this year. One more music thing to mention is that her alongside some other former Wogu girls, those being Miyu and Kaya, are all in the Tokyo 6 Entertainment franchise together, which is a lesser known series, and I assume they've had some live shows that are just harder for me to access or to even confirm that they exist. Now let's move on to the fun facts. Her height is 159.5 centimeters or 5'2.5". She is on both Twitter X and Instagram, though it seems her Instagram posts have recently been deleted, as well as a YouTube channel that has some of her music videos and live performances. And there's her weekly radio program with Kaori Maeda, titled Kinyobi no Shijimi, because it airs on Fridays and has been going on since 2021. So I'm going to start off with a random useless fact that my brain just puts together for some reason without me even noticing it. Yopi shares a first name with Yoshino Nanjo and a last name with Nagisa Aoyama, who are both Love Live girls, but more importantly, they both have the blue image color, the same as Yopi with her unit. Also, Ao means blue, some kind of crazy coincidence, and for some reason I always notice these completely irrelevant things. But for some actual facts, she can play the piano and has an epic opera voice. She writes the lyrics for some of her own tracks, and even the debut song Dive Out by the group Diver Me, which her friend and former Wogu teammate Nanami produces. But Yopi can also play the guitar, which she learned because of Bochi, so she could perform live. There's even a bunch of subtitled videos by fans here on the tube showing her guitar journey. She loves both anime's Samurai Deeper Kyo and Psychopaths. She has 2 older sisters and 1 older brother. She likes dirty jokes and doesn't really like wearing clothing, saying it usually takes her a long time to get dressed after a bath, and most of the time she'll just stay in her underwear all night. Also saying if it was normal and legal, she'd just be naked everywhere. Keeping with that, according to Miyutaki, Yopi has really nice breasts. Photo book when? Please. Actually, sticking with more Wake Up Girls related things, in the early stages, Mayu and Yopi were in a bit of an argument, which led to Minami trying to break it up with some tears in her eyes, saying she really likes everyone there at the training camp, and saying how she really just wants everyone to get along. I swear I also remember seeing a scene like this in the anime, but I just couldn't find it when I went looking for it again. If it did happen though, that's just another example of how their anime perfectly reflects their real life experiences. Yoshino likes gaming, but doesn't really enjoy multiplayer games because she doesn't want to communicate with others. Also, when she was younger, her parents had strict rules about too much gaming, so as an adult, she started to take advantage of the freedom and play as much as she wanted. Something she strongly dislikes is phone calls, especially when they're important business-related things. I think most people can relate to that. And last up, when it comes to her name, her dad suggested the Yoshi kanji, while her mother decided on the No kanji. But also shoutouts to her and Sakiki going on a snowboarding skiing trip earlier this year. I love that all the girls are still such close friends despite their group disbanding like 5 years ago now. Actually, one more shoutout too, to the time she dressed up as Bochizilla and handed out flyers to people with them having no idea it was her in the suit. And with that, we have reached the ending. Yopi is a perfect example of not giving up. She did start super early, so that does help, but she was turned down at the very early stages where most people would just give up. Then after basically a decade of having a steady fan base, but still being a mid to low tier Seiyuu, she finally got her big break. And in this industry, it really only takes one big role to skyrocket your popularity, and then you're an it girl for the next few years. We'll see if Yoshino can keep up the momentum after this initial hype train dies out. Considering it's been 2 years since Bochi and their movie just coming out, I'd say it's safe to assume Yopi will be in the public eye for another 5 years or so. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something new. If so, please do leave a like, and for sure join me in the next one about the entire franchise of Wake Up Girls, not just the main unit. It may take a few extra days than usual though. There is a new game coming out that will be taking up lots of my time. But whenever the video does come out, I look forward to seeing you there.